If you're working your butt off in your floristry business, but you're still not making enough money to actually pay yourself an income, I need to tell you something that is going to blow your mind. There are literally only two problems for you to solve. That's it. Just two. I know. You're probably thinking, but what about my website and my social media strategy, my pricing, seasonal availability, my wholesalers, my retail space, my inventory? Trust me, I get it. But here's the thing. All of that noise, it all comes down to just two things. And by the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly what those two problems are and how to fix them. So grab your notebook and a pen and a big mug of tea, and let's dive in. One of the greatest aha moments that I ever had in building my floristry business was way back in 2017. I was just 2 years into my Flower Boss career, and I was doing the thing that we all do, working really long hours, saying yes to every single thing that came my way, constantly adding new products, new designs, new offers, new services to my business, and experimenting with every single marketing tactic that I could think of. And the reality was, behind the scenes, I was exhausted, like to my bones. Burnt out, so tired, so frustrated, so disheartened. And one Tuesday afternoon, I finally sat down with my profit and loss statement, and I had it opened up in a tab in front of me, and I was just staring at the numbers, trying to figure out what it is that I was missing, wondering what the secret to success was, questioning whether I had what it take to actually figure this out, believing that every single florist on the planet had access to some secret how-to manual and that I was the only one who was struggling. And my brain was on overdrive because I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to completely overhaul my website. Maybe I need to figure out how to get 100,000 followers on Instagram. Maybe I should say yes to yet another styled shoot. Maybe my work isn't good enough. Maybe I'm not a good enough designer. Maybe it's that I just don't have what it takes to make this work. And then this moment of like complete clarity, I was looking at my profit and loss statement. And I was like, no, the answer must be in front of me. And I was thinking, okay, I'm looking at a sheet of numbers. This is literally just information. It's only just math. And that version of my P&L, I was like, well, the math isn't adding up to anywhere near a positive number. And I decided, okay, if I distilled this down into its simplest version ever, if I treated this like it was some grade 5 math problem, and I went, okay, forget the fact that I'm a floral designer, forget the fact that I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. If I look at this P&L, the math isn't mathing. Okay, let's figure out why. And that was the day when I realized how simple running a business gets to be. Because at the end of the day, your profitability in your business is simply determined by your revenue minus your expenses. That's it. That's business. And in that moment, I was looking at my P&L and I decided I am going to take control of every single line item on this worksheet. Every single line item is my responsibility and I'm going to do something about it. Complete and utter control. And in hindsight, that is the ultimate flower boss move, because in that instant, when you make that decision, you put yourself in the driver's seat instantaneously. You will feel the energetic shift in your body, and all of a sudden you'll be like, okay, let's get to work. Let's start solving problems, and let's start solving problems in new ways. So you're probably here because you're like, okay, Kathleen, I'm not making enough money in my floristry business. Here's what I want you to understand. If you're not making enough money in your floristry business, if you're not able to pay yourself a real salary, there's actually only two problems that you need to focus on. Problem number one is getting money in the door, and problem number two is money going out the door. And that's it. You can distill your entire business plan and all of the complicated business models and your go-to-market strategies and whatever 40-page business documents you've got sitting on your Google Drive, whatever epic, beautiful, color-coded spreadsheets you have. Remember, when you get to that point of overwhelm, when you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to do, what is it that I'm missing? Come back to this framework. It's only a matter of making sure that you have more money coming in than you do going out, because business is just math. People will pay you a certain amount of money to deliver a service for them. You then pay your expenses. So your flowers, your rent, your staff, your website hosting, your insurance, and what's left in the bank at the end of the day should include your profitability and your own salary. So we can cut through all of the confusion, all of the overwhelm, and just come back to a very simple formula. Revenue minus expenses equals profit. But here's the thing that we all do as human beings. We love to make things really, really, really complicated. It's in our nature. And we take this very simple math problem and turn our businesses into this all-consuming, overwhelming, impossible puzzle with 1,000 moving pieces. And the good news is I have decompressed enough from my own experience that I can laugh about it now. But if you are in that place in your business today, I'm here to tell you that it's okay. We're going to solve the problem because I'm going to talk you through exactly how to fix both sides of the equation. And let's start with problem number one, the money coming into your business. Now, the fancy term for this is called revenue. And your revenue is 100% dictated by your marketing plan, 100%. So if you're not getting enough money in the door, if there isn't enough money coming into your business right now, it's a matter of creating clarity. And you need clarity on three things. The first one is, are you clear on who you're marketing your floristry services to? Number two, finding clarity on what it is you're spending your time on right now. But the reality is not everything on your to-do list is created equal, and not every marketing activity that you're doing in your business is actually getting you the results that you want. And then number three, clarity on what gets your customers showing up, credit card in hand, ready to pay in full. And one of the most helpful exercises that I've ever done in my floristry career was auditing our sales. Now, I know that sounds really boring, but it was so enlightening. So if you don't know where your most profitable orders are coming from, audit your orders so that you can then recalibrate your own to-do list, double down on what is working, and you will actually start to see an increase in your revenue, an increase in your profitability, and that's when you start to blow your own mind with what's even possible within your business. At the end of the day, running a business is just math. If there's not enough money coming in the door right now, focus on making sure that your marketing plan is getting you the results that you want. Because then you can turn to problem number two, and that's the money going out or your expenses. If at this point you're getting enough sales in the door, but there still isn't enough cash in your bank account to pay yourself a salary, it's a mindset thing. Because the minute that you take control of your P&L and you look at it and you intentionally decide everything that's on here, I have the power to control, it simply comes down to making the right decisions as you're navigating the expenses in your business. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think we all make, like I think it is part of the Flower Boss growth journey, is that we all have a period in our business where we way over invest in our cost of goods sold. We get excited when we go to the wholesalers and it's ranunculus season. We see somebody's released a new series of vases and we're like, ooh, I want that. But that day that I decided, okay, everything that's on my P&L statement is my responsibility, that's when I realized, okay, so it's just numbers. This is just math. Now, the biggest line item that you will see on your P&L is going to be your cost of goods sold. So that's where I always suggest that you start. For me, the thing that really broke the habit of overstuffing and overbuying at the wholesalers was I set myself a very specific challenge. And for 30 days, I pared back my wholesale orders to the absolute bare minimum. And I set myself that challenge for 30 days so that I could actually figure out how many flowers do I go through in the run of a week. Your design skills will become 20 times better once you learn how to design with one random lily stem, 2 snapdragons, and 3 mismatched gerberas and make something that your customer is going to love. But you put that level of constraint on your wholesale orders, you cut your wholesale order down by 20 to 30%, you are going to blow your mind with the cash flow increase and how quickly it happens. The other byproduct of that experience, which truly surprised me, because this is when it started to open my eyes up to the fact that our customers don't know. Our customers don't know that there's 957,000 other options than lilies and roses. Because I always assumed that as a florist, I needed to make sure that I had one of everything. But in that 30-day challenge, when I cut everything back and went to bare bones basics, the immediate thing that I had to start to navigate was customers calling up for very specific requests. And one moment that I remember, somebody called, I answered the phone, and they said, oh, hey, I want to organize a flower delivery, just something beautiful, a lovely thank you. do you guys have any yellow roses? Now, up until that point, I would have ordered a bundle of roses in almost every single color under the sun. But because I set that challenge of narrowing things back, one of the things that I stopped doing was ordering every flower in every single color. But this is when you get to become an expert salesperson and you realize how simple selling gets to be. Because in that instance, it's not that they're looking for yellow roses, it's that they're looking for something bright and cheerful and premium, which you can respond to with something as simple as, we're actually sold out of yellow roses, but we do have these beautiful yellow locally grown dahlias. So have a look at your P&L. If you've got enough cash coming in the door, but you're seeing it all go out the door, look at your P&L and see where the math isn't mathing. And then put a very simple plan in place for you to change your habits. This doesn't require any fancy software, no technology, no new apps, no new nothing. You can solve 99% of the problems in your business with a checklist. So keep it simple, know the problem that you need to solve, and then get to work solving it. Because you're going to blow your mind with how quickly you will see an increase in your profitability, more cash in the bank. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I wish I had done this sooner. And at the end of the day, I love this equation so much. When you define your business problems as money in or money out, you've put yourself in the driver's seat because you get to decide that it's 100% under your control. So then you can clear your head and be way more strategic and intentional with the next decisions that you make. And that's going to help you show up with so much more confidence as you navigate your next stage of growth. And it is so normal for us to fall into a victim mindset in our businesses. But we all know how much that compounds our frustration, and it's what creates that feeling of being stuck. So redefine the problem at hand. Define it in a way where you are 100% responsible for the problem. Because when you do that, then you give yourself 100% agency to solve it. And here's what I want you to do right now. If you're pouring your heart and soul and your energy and you're putting in a huge amount of hours into your business, but you're not yet getting the results that you want, start with your marketing. Are you getting enough revenue and cash into your business to achieve your goals? If the answer is no, it's a money in problem, and the solution is recalibrate your marketing. If you are getting enough sales in the door, but there's not enough money left over to pay yourself, that's a money out problem. That indicates that it's time to look at your P&L and make some changes. And I highly recommend just work on one problem at a time. This is not one of those instances where we're gonna throw our entire business out and start from scratch, but pick one problem to solve in your business, solve it, and then move on to the next problem. So if there's not enough money coming in the door, shift your marketing. And if you've got the money coming in the door, but there's no cash left in the bank, shift your mindset. And I know this might all sound way too simple. And you might be thinking to yourself, Kathleen, it cannot possibly be this straightforward. But most florists have never even considered that it could be this simple. We're all walking around believing that it needs to be incredibly complicated, that we need to have the latest software, more technology, and have a marketing list that has 27 different items on it. But it doesn't have to be that way. Particularly when you're in a pile of frustration, when you're overwhelmed, when you're spinning your wheels, and when you're asking yourself, I don't know what to do, we're going to come back to the foundation. Remember, business is just math. There's money coming into your business. There's money going out of your business. Figure out what the problem is, solve for that problem, and then move on to the next thing. And if you liked this video, you might also like this video. I'm giving you my 3-step approach to focusing on high profit marketing strategies and waking up to high value orders and dream client inquiries without any guesswork. And as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.